Good morning, Facebook. It's Autumn, and I am back with another question of the day for you guys. So here's a really important question that I've been asked quite a bit, especially lately. I get asked it all the time, but really lately it's showed up on a lot of the posts I've been doing. And it's in regards to emotional eating. I've done a lot of food posts, and I've talked about working through your cravings and things like that, and I get a lot of people saying the same thing, that they are an emotional eater and don't know how to deal with it. So I want to talk about that today because there's a lot to cover when we're talking about emotional eating. So first of all, what is emotional eating? It's anytime you're reaching for food to cope with an emotion. So you're sad, you're stressed out, you're bored, you're anxious. You can even when you're happy, right? To celebrate. But it's anytime you're turning to food to deal with an emotion. You are looking to, instead of feeling that emotion and all that comes with it, because a lot of times our feelings, they're icky and awful and uncomfortable, and we don't want to be in that icky, awful, uncomfortable place. So we turn to something else that we feel like will be a pick-me-up or make us feel good, at least for a split second. So that's what emotional eating is. And when you emotionally eat, you tend to feel powerless over your food. Or at least that's what you think is going on, that you're powerless over your food, you have no willpower. And that's not exactly where emotional eating is stemming from. It's actually stemming from feeling powerless over your emotions. So you get hit with feeling stressed out and you just don't know how to deal with it. You're at work, you're under a deadline, and you don't want to deal with it. And next thing you know, you're in the break room and you're reaching for a donut, or you're at the vending machine getting potato chips, and you're just doing this. You're mindlessly eating to try to suppress that emotion that you're feeling. So you aren't powerless over your food, and you aren't powerless over your emotions. But what we do need to do is identify when we emotionally eat and then figure out a different way to deal with it. So the first thing you do really need to do is take a look at what triggers you to emotionally eat. Is it when you are stressed out? Is it when you're sad? Is it when you're anxious? Is it when you're feeling bored or lonely? Is it how you choose to celebrate? Look, my family, I'm Italian, that's how they celebrate, that's how they deal with the sadness. It's food, 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 food. I actually was kind of teased in my family for a very long time that I didn't turn to food all the time, or that I ate in little amounts. So again, the first thing is identifying those behaviors and what is triggering you to reach into the refrigerator, to go into the pantry, and to start mindlessly eating, okay? And then the next thing that you need to do is be mindful of your eating. That is the next step. So you identify what that trigger is, whatever the emotion is that makes you go reach for food, and then you have to be mindful of your eating. So take a minute when that trigger happens, when you get stressed out. Take a moment, take a deep breath, relax for a second, okay? Then I want you to feel it. Let yourself feel all the awful ickiness, uncomfortableness of that emotion. I promise you, you're gonna be okay. You're gonna survive. You're gonna get through whatever it is that you are feeling. I hear it all the time. The only way to get over something is to go right through it. So go through that emotion. Don't suppress it. I am terrible at this. I will be the first to admit it. I'm not an emotional eater, but I am terrible at suppressing my emotions. It's a running joke between me and my friends. I'm always like, I bury that like Jimmy Hoffa. You'll never find that emotion. If I get hurt, if I get angry, I shove it down. Or at least I have in the past. I am working on that because that is not a good way to be. That will manifest into so many other things later on. Illnesses, disease, weight gain, weight loss, not being happy. So many things will happen when you start suppressing those emotions. So don't. Identify your trigger. Feel it. Feel the emotion that you're going through. That way you become aware that it's not going to kill you. It's not going to be the end all be all, and that you'll get through it. And then we need to come up with new ways to deal with that trigger instead of food. So if you're sad or if you're lonely, call a friend, make a plan, go do something. If you're bored, pick up a book, read, go to a movie. If you're feeling anxious, exercise, dance it out, do something that will help you deal with that emotion in another way, something that's healthier than putting food into your mouth. Because there is a difference between being emotionally hungry and just being hungry. When you're hungry, any kind of food will be good to you, right? You're hungry, vegetables will sound good, fruit will sound good, protein, you're just hungry, you want food. But when you're emotionally hungry, you want fatty foods, you want sugary foods, you want foods that are going to be those pick-me-up happy feelings that'll only last for a second or two while you're eating it, and then it goes away, and you're going to get stuck in this vicious cycle. Because what happens after you eat those fatty sugary foods? You feel bad, you beat yourself up, I have no willpower, and it's this vicious cycle that keeps going around. So pay attention to what is emotional hunger and what is real hunger. Okay, so you're going to identify the trigger, you're going to feel all of those emotions, you're going to come up with a better way to handle those emotions. Like I said, call a friend, read a book, exercise, whatever it is that's going to be something healthier than the way you've handled it in the past. And you're going to remember that no amount of food will fill you up emotionally. So when that happens and you start to feel all those horrible feelings and you go to reach for food because you think it's going to make you feel better, it will. It might make you feel better for a second or two. But remind yourself, it is not going to fulfill you like you're looking for it to do. So you've got to start looking elsewhere and really identifying the root cause of why you're reaching for the food. So there it is, you guys. That is my advice on emotional eating. One more time, I'm going to say it. Identify your trigger. Just take a deep breath before you go reaching for food. Breathe, relax, let yourself feel those emotions because they're not going to kill you. You're going to get through them. And then start working on ways to get through those emotions other than eating. So be mindful about your eating and develop new habits that break those bad habits of emotional eating and will work to help you achieve whatever goals it is that you are working towards. All right, there it is, you guys. I'm actually on set of Fixate today, so I am going to go get my day started, get into hair and makeup because this has not been taken care of yet, and tune into Instagram stories today if you want to see what's going on set. Thanks. Bye.